Going. Just gonna make a quick video here. I don't really know what I'm gonna talk about, but lately I've been too focused on what it is I'm going to say in the videos, so you don't really get a genuine version of who I am in that. It's my last almost 2 weeks here. I have 16 days left in Arkansas, and just making the best of it, taking a nice walk through the forest, drinking as much of the spring water I can before I head back to Toronto. And I guess today I want to talk to you about a couple things I've taken into consideration, because when you're when a detox comes naturally to you and you've done it for 4 to 5 years, there's some things or beginner knowledge you should know before you are ready to just take detox on full speed. Because everything's become kind of just very, very normal, second nature, or first nature. I don't know how that's supposed to be phrased, but yeah, so like one great piece of information I would give is that think about food, yes, for energy, but your main priority is to utilize as many nutrients as possible from the food you're eating. So you want to first and foremost eat foods that are not dead, because it's easier to digest and utilize and absorb the foods without creating a nasty acidic ash that will further destroy the linings and the cells of your body. Because those accumulating factors will prevent you from being able to absorb the nutrients from the food you're eating. Just say you do eat meat. Those foods leave a heavy acidic ash, and over the time it builds up, and then you're not able to absorb or utilize. Number two, as far as food combining goes, you want to make sure that the less you eat in a meal, the better. Like the less combinations of food. And there are certain foods that should just not be mixed together, and I'll list several of them. The first one being protein, like meat, with either potatoes or any starch. And quick piece of information about that is that protein takes precedence when there are carbohydrates and proteins in the stomach. So what happens to those starches that are waiting to digest in your stomach? They ferment and create acidosis, which further destroys your insides. So don't eat your proteins with your starches. If you're gonna eat your proteins, eat it with some steamed vegetables if you're gonna eat meat. And eggs are highly acidic because of the estrogen factor. Anything that's a steroid, testosterone, estrogen, they're all highly acidic for the human body. And they deplete the sources of your body's natural ability to create those. So you're consuming synthetic forms of what your body is naturally meant to create. Okay, moving on. We have the basics covered. Now I want to talk about the beginning of digestion. And the beginning is when you put the food into your mouth. And a lot of us don't even chew our food because we're too busy watching TV or thinking about our day and the things that we have to do the next day. So oftentimes we don't think of the food that's in front of us. And what a sin that is if you're consuming some meat, a piece of animal flesh that just happened to devote its life to you consuming it, and you're just going about it, eating it mindlessly, not even thanking the meat. I can accept eating meat, but for you to not thank an animal that has devoted its life, it has been born into slavery, and then to mindlessly consume this animal that was just raised for the kill, that boggles my mind. And maybe you haven't thought about that, but put some thought into it, because if you do eat meat, there are ways to eat it that are still acceptable. Some would argue that, but I'm not against meat eating. I just don't think it's the best for me. Some people do need it, possibly. We don't know. We can only speak for ourselves. So, if you do eat food, chew it well and chew it consciously, and make sure you chew it up real fine so your body has to do less. Once the bolus is inside of you, that it has to do less to digest leading to healthier and happier absorption and utilization. And that takes me to the next one of absorption and utilization. We want to, and this is where you want to take all the information I've said so far and collaborate it and put it into this category of utilization and absorption. Will work the most optimally if you follow the prior two instructions, which is eat less combinations of food and chew it well. Think happy thoughts while you're chewing it. Do not eat your food and worry or stress, because that is how your food, the energetics of your food, turn to acid or worry, because cells will only do what your mind tells them to do. And that is some useful information I would give to you. Now let's get into size of meals. Now everybody lives a different lifestyle. I find that the best way to eat is to eat when you're hungry and eat small amounts. That way you're only consuming enough to get you through the next couple hours. But a lot of people don't have that option in their life to be able to eat whenever they feel, because they have jobs, they have kids, they have to do things, they have to live their life. And that's cool too. So if that's you, if you have a busy life and you can't eat whenever you want, then I would make sure to eat a light smoothie or juice, high energy in the morning. That could be like a coconut green juice, that could be a fruit smoothie, could also be an avocado blueberry smoothie. Something to stimulate the nervous system would be some fats, not a lot of fats, just a couple fats, with some blueberries or berries in general are very stimulating for the nervous system, or the neurological neurotransmitters, which will give you a better burn in the morning, and you'll be more aware, and you'll just have a zest for life if you start to eat less in the mornings. For lunch, if you're on the 3 meal a day and a snack in between, make lunch your biggest meal. And yeah, just take everything into consideration. Try and eat less types of food at one meal, but make it your heaviest meal, because you've gotten past the point of the morning where you're still prolonging your fast, and you're going to slow it down going into dinner. You're going to come up with your second biggest meal for dinner and your lightest meal for breakfast. So when you do have dinner, you want that to be something satisfying, and it's going to put your any cravings you might possibly have to rest, and that'll benefit you greatly. So you can stop eating at 7 o'clock and maybe have a tea if you do get hungry. That way you're not going to be eating more food for digestion that'll make you tired. So when you go to sleep, if you stop eating at 7, you go to sleep and you wake up around 6, I wouldn't even eat till 10 in the morning. For just the longer you can prolong your fast for the night that carried over, the better, because then you're really going to just allow the body to catch up. And that's why they call it the break fast, right? Breakfast is break fast, because you break the fast of the night. And that's what we all want to be doing, is thinking along the lines of, when we go to bed, we want to have good dreams, Baba black sheep. You want to have those sheep dancing over your head, if that's what you want. I mean, I don't really dream about that. I generally dream about flying, or falling, or surfing, like I'm being carried by waves. Or sometimes I'll have scary dreams where I'm a really tiny person and there's giants everywhere and they're chasing me around a village and I'm hiding in buildings and stuff like that. I don't know what that means, but I think it's pretty entertaining to dissect dreams. And what else do I have to say? Yeah, I'll give you an example of what my food was like today. Morning, I woke up and I juiced a mason jar full of orange juice and tangerines. Then I finally diced up banana and pear, one of each, and put it into the juice and shake it up. Now, the reason I did that was because I think it's a healthy example to chew your food, even if it's a fluid, because it releases digestive enzymes and further enhances your digestive function. Now, that's not my own original idea. I scored that off the Raw Bras, and I think it's a fantastic idea. Now, I wouldn't put nuts in a green drink, ever. I think that's just gonna be a combative situation for digestion, because you don't want to confuse your body. Maybe your body is more advanced than mine, but... Ooh, I love wind chimes. Don't you love that? Just listen. Oh. You know what? I'm still getting warmed up to this camera. In general, talking on the camera, and I hope you can appreciate my goofy side and my serious side at the same time. And trust me, I'm gonna get a lot more comfortable in front of this camera, and I have a lot of great ideas. I just don't have the capabilities at this time. Yeah, so I started off my morning with that juice with the pears for chewing. Then I had, and that was after I did yoga. Then after that, I went on a hike, or I did a workout, just lifted some weights because I'm getting back into the heavier foods to build a little bit before I head back to Ontario for the cold weather. So I had a smoothie when I got back from the walk after my workout. I went on about a 40-minute walk up a hill, all up a mountain, and that meal consisted of 2 heads of romaine hearts, small romaine hearts, and I used those to dip into my smoothie, which was 5 dates, 3 bananas, an avocado, and which is really heavy. But notice how I had my heaviest meal at lunch, in the middle of the day, so at dinner I can kind of descend. We want to ascend? See, think of this as the meal chart. This is breakfast, right? And as you go to the peak of your day, right here, this will be the peak, you have that's your biggest meal. And then from this time to dinner, you want to, or to going to sleep, you want to have your lightest meal. So you want to warm up to your biggest meal, and then you want to slow down after your biggest meal to have a more easy descent when you land a plane. When you land a plane, you don't dive it into the ground with a big heavy meal before bed, because that's just going to sit there, and your body is going to have to handle with that business, because digestion is the biggest priority for your body. Any food you eat, your body will put all other functions aside for digestion, and digestion takes up the most energy that you have in your systematic 100% battery. So yeah, eat your lightest meal for dinner. Tonight I'm gonna have a cucumber apple lemon juice, super fresh, really light, delicious and satisfying, and it's gonna give me a ton of energy to possibly do more yoga or stretch or go for a walk. Walk after meals. Give it half an hour. Walk after meals. Make sure when you eat to have a calm mind. Make sure it's a very peaceful environment and that you're not, talking all the time. And maybe turn off the television. Maybe just don't watch anything while you're eating and just appreciate the food and give thanks for it. Always give thanks for your food. Create a symbiosis with the food. Create synergy so the cells know what you're about to eat. That's all I got to say right now. I'm just going to enjoy this wind chime action a little more, and hopefully you take what I say to heart and it will benefit you. Namaste. This is Matthew Mellor. Take care of yourself and subscribe to this channel because you need me. You need this. If you don't need this, that's fine. But if you do, subscribe. Maybe I'll entertain you. Take you on some trips because, right now, this is where I'm at. You want to see more cool places like this? You want to know where this is? Look at Kuan Yin over there. Lots of Kuan Yin. Prayer flags, crystals, wind chimes. That's the truck I get to drive right now. I'm very fortunate. And yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing, is just taking you on these adventures and showing you what I do and don't do and things I like to ingest and not ingest, and I'll talk about all sorts of things, and I won't stop talking because I just have endless things to say. Take care!